Hello everyone, this is Sir Clubbage Fugenkunt. I'm here to inform you all that the following video was completely written back in early to mid-April of 2019. For a variety of reasons, the script has been unaltered since its completion, so keep that in mind while watching this video. Andrew has evolved a lot of these opinions since, but wants these preserved. So with that said, I hope you all enjoy the video. Goodbye!
My Invisalign has...
I've taken out my Invisalign.
I have taken out my Invisalign, and this is the spring ranking. So am I the only one who feels like there is nothing happening right now? I mean, this year hasn't been static or even close to that, but even with all the activity and outright oddity and stuff, and we'll get to some of that in a few, it just feels like nothing is actually happening. If you ask me to give you my feelings about 2019's music so far, I honestly don't know what to tell you. 2018 actually had a ton of songs I really liked by this point, and even songs I really hated. Whereas with 2019, I sort of don't give a shit about almost anything either way. So with that, same shit, bad, mad, decent, good and great, 0 to 5 point system as always. And remember, these are my own opinions, which apparently are similar to a 14-year-old girl, so chill out when I disagree with you. Either way, let's get started. Okay, I guess it's time I address this before moving forward, not just for this one video, but for the next potentially few years or more. And yes, this is about TikTok. It's hard to deny that the biggest social media right now is TikTok. It started out as Musical.ly, and there were the quote stars on it back then. But where we stand now, it's actually pretty damn big in its own right. And I can see when charting songs are coming from that app a mile away. Hell, put aside charting songs like Faucet Failure by Ski Mask the Slump God or Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji, there are notable hits out right now that got a lot of their initial traction thanks to TikTok. Like that Envy Me by Callboy song, as well as 2 songs in this top 20 right now. And you might not be aware that one of them came from TikTok. And yeah, obviously a song has to get big traction in legitimate categories to get chart success, but I have to ask, did this need to be the song to get by far the most traction right out the gate?
I got the horses in the bag, horse stock is a tag.
This is point-wise one of the strongest number ones we have ever had. And all of it came from a whole lot of controversy from Billboard themselves. And you know what? I'll say it. How I feel about this being on a country chart is exactly how everyone else felt about Meant to Be. But to my surprise and annoyance, a lot more people are willing to defend this being on the country chart. Yeah, I wrote my piece about my feelings on this whole thing already, but then I saw all the narratives within the Twitter community I'm in. Hell, I saw so much from Twitter as a whole, and other artists too, and I'm going to do my best to comment on each notable controversy here. And reminder going into all of this that the country scene and genre as a whole are not things I'm greatly familiar with. I didn't grow up on country music. As of writing this, I have only listened to 17 or arguably 21 country projects. This is not a genre I know enough about to get all defensive or defend its honor or any shit like that. But to get back to Meant to Be, remember that I don't even like that song being in a country conversation, but again, 50 weeks at number 1 is 50 fucking weeks of topping a genre chart. But ignoring the very recent past and looking at it right now, Old Town Road would obviously be at number 1, and screw it, I'm putting my foot down. No. The thing that's most infuriating to me is people are trying to claim that this isn't satire, that this isn't a joke song, and that it wasn't created as such. What fucking song did you hear?
I got the horses in the bag.
He is so clearly pretending to have that southern twang that most country artists have to make a parody of country while making a trap song. Look up any song he made before Old Town Road. He doesn't sound like he does here, because it's a phony accent. I don't have a problem with him faking that accent, by the way. It's not like Iggy Azalea where it's not satirical, and in turn is actually really fucked when you think about it. But that actually takes us to the controversy that Lil Nas X was removed off the country charts because of racism. And since I'm a white teenager, I am not going into that because I am not an idiot, but I will point a few things out. For one of the biggest country acts right now is Kane Brown, who is half black. But if you want a fully black artist, Jimmy Allen had a song called Best Shot, hit the top 5 5 on the country charts, and it lasted 20 weeks on the main Hot 100. Never mind, I don't know, Darius Rucker. And I could give you more examples, but again, this isn't an angle I have much right to address. But getting back to my original point, Lil Nas X made Old Town Road for a fucking Twitter meme in December 2018. So I don't want to hear that he made this with artistic intent of fusing genres instead of the meme bait it clearly is. And yes, I saw his tweet. Just because he put effort into it doesn't change what I've said. The song's not even 2 minutes long. I know what it's doing. And the reason it got pulled off the country charts was probably because Nashville stepped in and said enough is enough. With Meant to Be, at least there were their own country artists on it. Even if they were the artists who got the genre's longest running hit by taking their original hit when its run was done and remixing it with a rapper for a second run, but country music has been stealing a lot from hip-hop for a long time now, so I get the argument that they're not letting this rapper in, but they'll continue to steal from the damn genre. I do understand that angle, and I know that the people who disagree with me will now take that angle and make that their new main argument, even if they never thought of that until now, but whatever. When Lil Nas X or his label made the decision to remix this with an actual country artist, the one they ended up with was goddamn Billy Ray Cyrus. And either he was the first pick because he's a meme pick, or he was the only person in country that would say yes, and the reason everyone said no is again because this is just a meme. It is a meme. Stop acting like it's not. And all that's before you even get to the damn song itself, where in between a bunch of the country stereotypes, he proudly brags about leaning his piss and him cheating. Because that's what this shit really needed. Listen, wherever you fall on this being country or not, and even it being rap, the producer samples fucking 9 Inch Nails in the music, and out the gate, this wasn't released to country radio, and it didn't get released to the hip-hop stations either. It was released to pop radio stations, and you know that's telling. You know what? Fine. You want me to explicitly say it? Meant to Be shouldn't have ever been on the country charts to begin with. And the country scene really shouldn't have eagerly gotten behind it either. So let's do everyone a favor. Let's not repeat our past mistakes here.
Niggas been counting me out. I'm counting my bullets. I'm loading my clips.
Can I just be honest here? I really don't like J. Cole. Despite always having very big album bumps, he hasn't had a year-end hit since Power Trip with Miguel in 2013. This became his longest running top 10 single after only 2 weeks. Seriously, he had 3 songs debut in the top 10 simultaneously, and none of them lasted long at all. So now that J. Cole has a genuine hit on his hands, I guess it's time to talk about music from who will be remembered by the current youth as one of the greatest rappers of our generation. I think he's fake deep. Okay, let me say this. I think he has good intentions a lot of the time, and songs like Wet Dreams and 03 Adolescence I do think are genuinely great songs. But on the other hand, No Role Models is a bad song. But let's not talk about what he's made in the past, let's focus on the top 10 hit at hand. Middle Child is a song where J. Cole expresses that he's this middle child to the rap game between old school hip-hop and the modern day hip-hop. And honestly, I call bullshit. J. Cole's a rapper from the 2010s, but he makes conscious hip-hop with a point. That is not what the current mainstream hip-hop landscape sounds like. But either way, he considers himself to be the big bro to the modern rappers, and what stood out to me was when he referenced that a modern rapper needed good guidance. And out of all the rappers to turn attention to and give a full set of bars towards, he did that to Kodak Black. And even if after those bars he in general expresses that he feels bad for rappers in jail, in my opinion, the only guidance Kodak Black deserves is guidance straight to jail for rape. My bad, I made a point to stop mentioning that unless it was really relevant. It'd be a lot easier if he wasn't frequently brought up, but oh well. Anyways, J. Cole brags about having a watch from Drake, meeting with Jay-Z for lunch, and a bunch of posturing that honestly just bores the hell out of me. That's my biggest problem with J. Cole. Everyone acts like he's saying so much, but if he really was, then why does none of it ever resonate? Why did his first 2 albums literally make me so tired to the point where once both were over, I took a nap because I was genuinely exhausted? I saw so many people outside of my general circle acting so hyped over this song and J. Cole, but when I listen to this song, I get nothing. And that is only made so much worse by the production of this song. The adjectives I use for wow are very similar, if not the same one I'd use here. Flat, gray, dull, and overall bland. The horns have zero impact, the trap skitters feel all over the place, and that's not a good thing. The little blips of melody here and there feel like distractions more than anything positive. And overall, even if this isn't the worst song in the top 20, it's the one I want to hear the least. Beyond underwhelming, and I would rather listen to almost anything else charting right now.
Wake up with your girlfriend.
Until the Thank You Next album came out, I would have argued that Ariana's worst song was kinda mediocre but still pretty okay. As of writing this video, she has made 3 bad songs. Now thankfully the song I disliked the most from Thank You Next was the sole song off this album to not hit the top 40. But of course the other track is here, so fuck. The most infuriating thing about this song, well beyond the content and the title, is just how flimsy and cheap this thing sounds. You'd think a pop princess megastar like Ariana Grande would be more than capable to make a song that doesn't sound this cheap and thrown together. I mean, the Thank You Next album was made within 6 months, so I'm not saying this makes no sense, but still. And this song is very reminiscent of something, but I have no idea what. I asked on Twitter and the only responses I got were No Limit by G-Eazy, and I have no idea where that comparison is coming from. Also, that's not it. Whoever helps me realize it first gets a heart and a pin in the comments. Please help me, this has been driving me crazy. I stand by what I said in my last ranking in regards to my dislike of this, but honestly the petty part of me wants to just mention the following. The bridge of this song interpolates Justin Timberlake's Cry Me a River. That song never went to number 1. This did. Fuck all of you. So talking about songs that got their big initial buzz off TikTok, this would be the second one here, and the one that you could definitely go its whole popularity run without knowing its buzz came from TikTok, since it's not a meme song. And to be honest, this is a frustrating song for me. I don't mind the production, the melodies, the pacing, all that, but as has been pointed out a couple of times, it completely rips off Down by Jay Sean from 2009. Granted, I really like that song, but this is a blatant ripoff. So that means the content is the only fair judge for this song, and nope, not today. I guess the real difference for this song is the third leg, where Down has a Lil Wayne verse, while this has a drop. And I do like both of these parts more than I maybe should, but at the same time, that drop on Sweet But Psycho reminds me of something else that I just can't remember. So really, the song's only good musically if you don't realize there's an older and better song out there that'll scratch this specific itch better.
Stop watching. My neck is fuzzy.
I know this was a song where a lot of critics turned against Ariana Grande, and in principle I get it, but like, the song itself is okay. Don't get me wrong, I did dislike this at first, and I'd still argue this is her second weakest single ever, but at the same time, this is okay. The interpolation from Sound of Music, it is a good melody, but amongst the interpolations from various rappers, we're talking Princess Nokia to Soulja Boy of all people, I do see why people think they don't mesh, and honestly, I'm not really sure if they do. And considering all of these interpolations are just for retail therapy, with production that's way too underweight, this being her second #1 hit above literally every other single she put out before this, that's just something I'm not happy about. But with all that said, I can't deny that there's something about this song that I do like. Maybe it's the underweight melody, maybe it's because this song's a little infectious. Either way, I wish the Thank You Next album was better than it was, and I hope the next album doesn't come anytime soon.
Oh God, I'm saying wow. 100 bands in my pocket, it's on me.
I guess it grew on me a tiny bit, but I'd still rather listen to almost any of the other successful Post Malone singles from Congratulations forward. High hopes, more like, you know what, fuck it. I don't have shit to say about this second time around, and for the sake of not wasting segments I wrote for songs I expected to be in the top 20 by this point that aren't, as well as just giving out more content, I'm going to discuss a couple of songs outside of the top 20 that will most likely not be in the summer ranking. The point total at the end will reflect the 20 songs in the 20 I'm ranking, not the songs I'm talking about in place of songs I already talked about where I have nothing to say. Also, I won't say what tier the song would be in because then there's surprise to it. By the way, this is not a guaranteed new segment I will be doing in the future. We'll see. So, what's under the top 20 right now?
They let my dog out the kennel. She can't help but fucking murder me.
I wanna end.
Memes.
So instead of high hopes, let's talk about 21 Savage.
A lot. How many problems you got? A lot. How many people done doubted you? A lot.
I have a weird relationship with 21 Savage. If you recall, I hated him at first. He was always so uninteresting in whatever song he was on. I think Savage Mode with Metro Boomin is an absolutely terrible album, and his album wasn't much better. Then you have Without Warning, and honestly I think he held that project back from being really good. But then something happened, because out of nowhere he just got so much better. I still think his Rockstar verse was great, and although it took me a while, I've really turned around to his contributions for Bartier Cardi. And I've gotten to a point where I actively anticipate a 21 Savage verse. Hell, he was the best part of Quavo's entire album. And his 2 solo features on Metro Boomin's album were the best 2 songs there. So upon the release of I Am Greater Than I Was, I actually had some real expectations that it could be very good. And like, I liked it. It was alright. My favorite songs are easily All My Friends and Monster, but A Lot is definitely a good song I can mostly get behind. 21 Savage is a pretty repetitive hook, but A, it's actually catchy on, like, say, Walk It Talk It, and B, it's actually not that bad at all. And his first two verses are both pretty well made, but none of that is the main draw to this song, and you know that, because that would be J. Cole. Despite everything I said while talking about Middle Child, I'd actually argue this is maybe J. Cole's best verse for me. His flow is genuinely awesome, and he's actually selling his stature well for once. But at the same time, he keeps this song from being truly great for me because of two parts. For one,
some niggas make millions, other niggas make memes.
Whose song are you on? Literally 21 Savage's most notable moments are when he says something funny and therefore memeable. Hell, to circle back around to TikTok one more time, this song is a meme on that app for its chorus. And beyond that, memes are a genuine factor for this market, especially in hip-hop. It's a legitimate business move to make if you can calculate it in such a way that won't seem corporate. But I could probably ignore that and not let it take too much away from the song for me. But then there's the main problem. Can J. Cole stop trying to elevate or make us feel sympathy for terrible people? Tekashi. He pled guilty to use of a child in a sexual performance. He was facing far more time in prison than his total lifetime on this planet. He was indicted for racketeering and firearm charges. He was facing far more time in prison than his total time on this planet. But since he admitted that he was guilty of everything he was charged for, he's likely not getting any jail time. Picturing him in a cell is the most jail time he's gotten. So yeah, this song might be really good, but it probably would have been a shoo-in for my best list without trying to make me have sympathy for a convicted child toucher. J. Cole, if 6ix9ine and Kodak are two people you don't dislike, then who the hell do you not like? Also, 21 Savage, please push All My Friends next, and I hope things go well with this whole immigration situation.
Back home smoking legal.
Drake's almost entirely out of the top 20. As long as there's no funny business soon, we could be free from Drake next season, and that's only a good thing. Dude, I don't know what's happening anymore.
I'm a sucker for you.
Yep. 2019, the year where the Jonas Brothers got their first #1 hit. And I know that apparently this song rips off Portugal the Man's Feel It Still, but truth is, I never really loved that song. I've tried so hard for so long, but I can just never get into it. Outside of one very specific instance once. And this is kind of similar, except I think I like this more. That doesn't mean I think it's better, it just means that I think I like it more. You need to remember I was born in 2000. I mainly grew up on YouTube videos like Shane Dawson, Charlie the Unicorn, Forest Fire 01, Harry Potter Puppet Pals, Fred, and that list goes on for a while, but you get the gist. But I also grew up on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and the Disney Channel. And I actually watched the Jonas Brothers like Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, Sunny with a Chance, and etc. This specific type of nostalgia pandering, it's targeted at someone like me. I grew up watching the Disney Channel, I'm now an adult, and I have depression and miss my childhood. Although I never owned an album from one of these Disney or Nickelodeon pop stars, and teen pop as a genre from that time is only something I've started digging into this year, I'm not going to act like hearing about the Jonas Brothers reunion didn't immediately spark my interest, even if I still haven't heard a Jonas Brothers album, and I did take my sweet time to listen to Sucker, and yeah, it's decent, it's catchy, it's well performed, but it just doesn't hit the way I want it to. I think it comes down to the production, which is handled by Louis Bell, who, from what I've read in the Twitter community, all the people I know that are aware of who he is seem to hate him and his work, so maybe there's something to that, but like, I don't know. I do see this growing on me, and I do like this, but this could be better. Hopefully the third attempt at this song will be the one I really love.
I want you to be happier.
So instead of bullshitting through either of these, let's talk about a song where I'm fairly certain most people might want my thoughts.
I got murder on my mind.
So if you aren't aware, let me explain to you why this song and artist got very popular this year. This is YNW Melly. He's yet another artist coming up that you can link their performance style to Young Thug, like you could Lil Baby, Gunna, etc. Except the big difference with YNW Melly is that he actually got some solid acclaim with his debut album, even getting a Kanye West feature for his sophomore album. And upon that sophomore release, said Kanye West collaboration charted, as well as the debut album single Murder on My Mind leaving the bubbling under and charting out of pure synergy. And both songs stayed charting for a little bit towards the lower parts of the Hot 100, and then the news came out that two YNW rappers that were not Melly, specifically YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser, had both been killed in a drive-by shooting. Now, this news wasn't highly published like the recent passing of Nipsey Hussle was, but the news was enough for people to feel really sorry for YNW Melly. So to try and cheer Melly up after two of his friends died, the general public decided to make his two charting entries surge up the charts. Except that's not what happened, because YNW Melly turned himself in for the double murder, and of course the general public bought and streamed Murder on My Mind, and to a lesser extent mixed personalities en masse, and here we are. Yep, another one of these cases. And the worst part about all of this is that the song is really good. Like, it's catchy, it's well made, it is lyrical hip-hop, and unlike Middle Child, it is good lyrical hip-hop. Hell, I wouldn't keep it out of the great tier out of moral guilt or anything. It's because the third verse is bad and performed worse and kills the flow of the song a little bit. Now, as of writing this, YNW Melly has not pled guilty to his charges, and he's awaiting trial for double murder, but no matter what happens, why are we still doing this? Like with XXXTentacion, Kodak Black, 6ix9ine, Tay-K, all that. Why do we find out someone did something terrible, or at least are accused by the law of doing something terrible, and then our interest is to check out their music immediately? Like within an hour of the news with YNW Melly, Murder on My Mind was already surging up iTunes. Actually, the problem isn't that we're checking out their music, the problem is that we're rewarding them with continued success and hits. Because this news broke in mid-February, and it's April. 2 months, and this is still well within the top 40. Yes, I like this song, but that doesn't change anything. I hope YNW Melly's innocent, but even if he is, when the general public thought he wasn't, they gave him 2 songs that will probably contend for the year end. Mixed personalities might not, but both songs are still kind of hits either way. And I've talked about something like this so much that at this point, when this video's finished and out, I know I'm not even going to think about it unless news comes out, because stuff like this just kind of happens now. And I'm an adult and I have other things to deal with. And now for tonal whiplash.
Bust down, Tholiana. Bust down, Tholiana. I wanna see you bust down.
I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to like this. Funny enough, every critic I've seen talk about this says that everyone complains about the offbeat rapping, but I've actually yet to see a critical complaint about it. And I won't be the first, because on Tholiana, he's probably the least offbeat than he is on the rest of his debut album. Hell, his chorus isn't even offbeat, it's just part of his verse, really. I will say this song is kept out of the great tier due to a poor enunciation for one bar making me always hear something far worse than what he's actually saying.
I try to tell myself 2 times with no.
This is what I thought the actual lyric was for the first month.
I try to tell myself,
yeah, that'll always take me out of the song. And I know there's a meme going around about how there are so many remixes for this song, but none of them are really relevant enough in comparison to my Tholiana remix. Bust down, Tholiana. Bust down, Tholiana. I wanna see you bust down. Over. Pick it up, now break that shit down. Break it down. Speed it up, now slow that shit down on the gang. Slow it down. Bust it, bust down, bust it, bust it, bust it, bust down on the gang. Bust down, Tholiana. Bust down, Tholiana. I wanna see you bust down.
you're the sunflower.
Post Malone is my favorite Spider-Man since Harry Styles. Finally, a career pivot.
Dancing with a stranger.
As I've said before, I do not like Sam Smith's music a lot. Since Too Good at Goodbyes left the top 20, I listened to both of his albums. And like, they're not bad albums, but I can't call either of them decent. And I honestly doubted that Sam Smith would make a good song that I actually cared about, but here we are. And it's not even like Sam Smith is making a new style of song, because this is still a traditional Sam Smith song, but with one major difference, and it's the music. It's not some dreary piano or string arrangement or anything close. It actually has a groove, and it's excellent. And the flow of the hook in tandem is so fucking good, I'm honestly shocked Sam Smith made this. And I don't want to ignore this. Normani is absolutely the best part of the song.
I wasn't even going out tonight.
I'm not gonna lie, outside of my well-stated praise for one previous member, I don't really have much investment in what the Fifth Harmony members do while the group's on hiatus. Like when Lauren Haregi drops an album, I will definitely care enough to check it out, but I really don't care all that much about Dinah Jane or Ali's solo careers, especially since Ali's current single with Tyga is trying to be Havana so badly that it's honestly really sad the more you think about it. But even if I definitely highballed Love Lies, it's still a good song, and this is even better. And I think both songs would be worse without Normani's presence. And let's make this clear, I am emphasizing presence. She is a great singer, and as long as she doesn't fuck up greatly, I'm content with her being big. Now, you may be wondering, with all this praise, why is this song only in the good tier? Well, you know when a song is so bad that its main phrase is forever going to be bad? Even if you hear it in a different context by different artists, this is a prime example.
Look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do.
Look what you made me do.
Oh, look what you made me do.
Yep. These Khalid singles are really good.
Can we just talk?
This just sounds so good. Disclosure are a very underlooked producer duo, and the production here has a good groove to it. And Khalid's performance is really damn good too. Overall, I do like this, and I'm happy the album bomb boosted it here. I know last ranking I had negative comments about where both acts would go moving forward, but I knew I wasn't that concerned, and most of why is because before putting that delayed video out, I had already heard this.
Please me, baby.
I know a lot more people dislike this as opposed to liking it, but sorry, I do enjoy this. And I don't even know what to say at this point. Cardi B is a good rapper, Bruno Mars is a great singer, and both of these things are very relevant here. Cardi's flows are good, Bruno Mars sings his ass off, the fucking crescendo, oh my god. I will say that Cardi singing on this song was a pleasant surprise. I didn't realize she was capable of sounding that good while singing. I am definitely impressed. I think this is just another showcase that Cardi B has a lot of talent, and maybe this sophomore album will have some real surprises after all. So, we gave Bradley Cooper a #1 hit. I did not expect this song to grow on me at all, never mind getting this tier, but yeah, this is a grower. And I still haven't seen A Star Is Born, so I don't know what context this thing has to exist, but on its own, it's just really damn good. Either way, Bradley Cooper got a #1 hit and a Grammy before he got an Oscar. How the fuck did that happen?
Nothing feels better than this. Nothing feels better.
This is exactly the quality song I've wanted Khalid to make for like 2 years now. It's his style of vibe with content that works. Khalid is a very great soulful singer, and this chilled out love song just works so well, and it's so well made. And before last week's chart, this was an easy runaway for topping the ranking too. But now it's only #2, cause, well, you know.
Duh.
For everyone that follows me on Twitter or looks at my Rate You Music to get a rough idea of how I feel about whatever, you know I gave Billie Eilish's debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, a 10. And after like 45 listens, and no, I'm not exaggerating, I stand by that score 100%. In fact, I wouldn't even call Bad Guy one of the top 5 songs on that album. That aside, I still love the hell out of this song. Out of all the songs on the album, this is one of the 2, quote, most fun songs there. The groove can be really bouncy, and Billie's little does are so goddamn enjoyable, and Billie and her brother are great at writing, and that's always the biggest draw to any of her music for me. With this song, she's actively taunting this person she's with, and with the right amount of instability, but at the same time, she's actively joking about herself. And when you think the song's over, then you get a little 45-second portion with a new beat to end out the song, where a lot of the irony gets pulled out, and she asserts her dominance, and she sells it so well. She has her line about how she doesn't get why this dude's girlfriend is scared of her, but that it may be because she's wearing his cologne. And it's all performed so convincingly, and it's kind of awesome. This girl's so fucking talented, and she's younger than me as well. Her and her brother made this incredible album mostly by themselves, and you can tell because no corporate team could make something as incredible as this. And I am so happy a project like this is not only in the mainstream, that this album not only debuted at #1, but that this album had almost all of its tracks debut on the Hot 100, with 3 of those songs eyeing the year-end list. I'm going to say this right now, this will not be the last time I talk about Billie Eilish, and I am so happy she's getting the exposure she rightfully deserves. If you still haven't gotten around to listening to her album, fix that shit now.
Andrew? Andrew? Are we doing a Let's Play today? What the? What the? Oh, come on.
When we add up all the scores for this week, we end up with a 62 out of 100. So far, 2019 musically hasn't given me a lot of excitement or even dread, but hopefully the summer will present more either way. Until then, my name is Andrew Prep, take care of yourselves, and as usual, have yourselves a damn good one.
Good night, everybody!
Yeah. Sure? Yep.